quick before I shimmy out the door for day 2 of the Global Leadership Summit. I was actually recapping yesterday's speaker with a friend later last night, where she was actually a little bit surprised when I told her that my favorite speaker of the day was not the one that was the most eloquent, was not the one that was the most polished, but rather the one that was the most real, the one who did an exceptional job at having one big idea that he clearly got across with a story that was easy to go back and repeat. And I think that that is something that we should be mindful of in any communication. You may be speaking on a platform before hundreds or thousands of people. You might not. It might be you on your social media or in somebody's inbox with your email blast, like whatever it is, especially when we're in business mode, we can get so freaking distracted with the wrong things where we're focused on sounding smart and sounding all of these things, as opposed to putting our best emphasis on being clear and repeatable, right? When you look at some of the best speakers in the world, they are really, really good with storytelling, as well as helping you to clearly receive what it is that they're trying to communicate. There were a number of different speakers, and by all means, like I'm telling you, like the idea of being in front of that many people, that'd be nerve-wracking for any human being. Like even a seasoned speaker who's spoken on many stages before, you can see where it would be easy to be nervous. And so when I pointed at the one that was my favorite speaker, like while he was speaking, you could tell there were some nerves. And that's okay. I think sometimes, at least for me, when it comes to doing public speaking, the idea of people seeing you nervous actually makes me more nervous. So that probably would have been a moment that's like, oh, I'm getting better with that, right? And it's something you just have to work past. But historically, that was a big hang up for me. Now, when it comes to how he delivered, it wasn't that it was like, oh, this sounds like he rehearsed it a million times over. And I'm not saying he didn't practice his speech. What I really admired and appreciated was the depth of real that he brought to the stage, where he was sharing parts of his own story that wouldn't be the things that we would put out there like, I'm so proud of this and I was so accomplished and I did all. No, he shared real talk about some of the things that we as humans all go through. So that's an important thing to remember when you are creating messages that you really want to stick with your audience, is look at things that are not like, oh, those astronomical feats that people can't relate to, right? Like you can tell a story of incredible inspiration about something that you accomplished or you did. Yes, share those things, but don't underestimate the value of the stories that might seem like the small things, the little day, the things that we would easily overlook, as being powerful tools for communication, where they reinforce relatability, where it shows that this is a human to human interaction. So strong communicators don't underestimate the value of those kind of stories. Not only that, but when you're looking to communicate with story, I would say be cautious of the details. One of the things that I thought was fascinating to learn and really helped me as far as communication was learning not to share too many details. And I know guys tend to be a lot shorter, and women, like we like going into we want to tell you all the things that happened and what we were wearing and all that stuff. And we miss that when we do that, when we go too thick with the details, we actually lose people. So I find it fascinating that there's actually a concept called neurocoupling that happens when one person shares a story with another. And it's like where you're seeing a story, you're hearing a story, and you start to see yourself in that story. That's why we fall so in love with like action hero movies, where we see ourselves overcoming our own things. Like deep inside, we relate on those feelings, right? Where we feel like we're up against great odds, and we love feeling like we're the hero in the story that overcame or whatever, right? But when you look at the process of neurocoupling, it is best accommodated where there are enough details, but not too many. Give us a time, a place, and proper context. But when you start telling too many details, it's easy to lose people, where they start to realize, oh yeah, this isn't my story. This is your story. And by the way, you're still talking, right? And at that point, have we done our job as communicators? Probably not. So learn how to leverage the power of story, but also be intentional about the details that you omit as the ones that you include. I remember hearing a quote a while back ago that said, perfection is not achieved when there's nothing left to add, but rather when there's nothing left to take away. All right. That perfection is achieved not when there's nothing left to add, but rather when there's nothing left to take away. And I would say that in our current culture where everything is so fast paced and everybody is so bombarded, like keep it simple. So when I look at the speakers for the Global Leadership Summit, obviously I have a ton of respect for the level that they are operating at, where they're able to come and speak to a crowd like that and deliver a message. But I thought it was so great to see the different delivery styles and what really worked and really stuck. Again, Julio Garcia absolutely was my favorite, just with the depth of realness that he brought in the story that he delivered with his own journey of entrepreneurship, as well as imparting a message of hope as to what is possible when we step out in faith with the right intention, proper perspective, and we really look to leverage what it is that God has given us to improve the world around us. And when we look at anything we're doing, if it is building that business, if it is crafting that email because you're trying to get sales up, whatever, like what happens when you shift to a servitude mindset where you're really putting the recipient first? Are you giving them something that they can easily receive, that they can easily repeat, and that they can easily use in rewriting their own story? So whether you are looking to speak to the masses, you want to go out and speak to thousands or millions, or you just want to keep it tight to your own little group in your network or on your social media, don't underestimate the value of being a good communicator. It doesn't mean you have to be the most eloquent or the most polished. That's not the top trait of a good communicator. And I think we miss that. I say that because I truly believe that your message has meaning. Like you have been gifted with a message that the world desperately needs to hear. And with that gift that you carry, there also comes a responsibility to learn how to share that message well. That means we work on getting a little bit better with maybe not rambling or ranting or doing whatever, but that we really keep the person that's intended to receive that message front and center, and think about it in terms of like, how can they take this, put it in their pocket, and become a better person on the other side of it. So again, those were just some of my takeaways from yesterday's speeches. I've got to actually get to shimmin' and shaking out the door for day 2 of the Global Leadership Summit. But I would love to know, what are some things that you're currently working on to improve your communication in a way that helps you to create better connections and better relationships with the world around you? If you haven't done so already, please, before you go, make sure you hit that follow button or subscribe here to keep pace with, some of the other content that I have coming out on building a brand and business that you genuinely love. Appreciate you guys so much. Take care.